Hi, I'm Sophie Alloway. I'm a drummer, um, session drummer, studio drummer, jazz drummer, whatever drummer anyone wants me to be. And I've been playing for, gosh, 26 years, maybe 27. I keep needing to add to that each year, strangely enough. But yeah, I've been playing a long time, um, done quite a lot of different things, and I love it, even during
Amazing.
lockdown.
Amazing. So tell us, growing up then, was music a massive part of your life, or did you kind of introduce it to yourself?
No, it was definitely just part of every day at home. So both my parents were and are massive music fans,
Yeah.
and my brother was a great pianist. He still is, but he doesn't play as much because he's got two little kidlets now, and
Oh,
he's got his work as well.
yeah.
Um, but it was a very musical household, and yeah, I was lucky to be there. What can I say? And I mean, even when the gigs are on, my parents are not always there, but they're quite a familiar sight. They just love it, and they've been
Yeah.
great supporters all the way through it. I started on pots and pans, and it was so exciting getting a cardboard box from Sainsbury's and getting the chopsticks out, and just my parents sort of say, "Oh, that was when you were about 5," but I think maybe it was later. Anyway, it was always there in me.
Yeah, amazing. So do you remember the first time you actually had your own drum kit?
Yeah, I think well, first of all, the lovely little primary school that my brother and I were at, where there was nothing fancy there. It was very modest, but they had, maybe a bass drum with no bass drum pedal and a snare drum with no snare wires and
Yeah.
hi-hats, the cymbals that go like that. They might have one of those. And the music teacher was just so supportive of my brother and me. And so I put the drum kit together. I didn't know what to do. I was largely
Yeah.
self-taught, and she just gave me a lot of opportunities, to play in assembly and play in musicals and things at school. But it was very low key.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think my parents thought, this is interesting. She seems to have really taken to it and has quite a natural ability. So I suppose I was about 10, 11, and
Yeah.
yeah, they got me a second-hand kit, which was a little bit ramshackle, but yeah, forever grateful for them
Yeah.
doing that.
Oh my goodness. So, how did you find playing that instrument then? Because, it's not really your classic. When you go to primary school, it's usually like they give you the woodwind or the brass instrument,
Yeah,
it's very much or a nice violin. That's everybody's classic, isn't it? Everybody started out playing the violin. So, where did the
yes.
drums come from?
Well, that's the thing. It was something sort of instinctive. I remember the first time I sat down at a real kit that was set up properly. This is my memory of it. It's probably completely skewed and rose tinted glasses on. But I sort of feel like I sat down and just knew what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I suppose, my parents would have had the TV on and I'd see drummers, and you just see, okay, they go like that and things happen and noise comes out. So
Yeah.
you absorb a certain amount naturally, I think,
Yeah.
if you're interested and curious.
Yeah.
But it's been a long journey. I don't mean to make it sound like it was easy, and it always has been. There are,
Yeah.
like with anything, theatre or acting or anything that's a passion, turning that into a living is a challenging, and the challenges change depending on the industry and the situation we're in.
Yes.
But you just ride the storm and, you know, try to stay positive, and then you get somewhere. I don't know where yet.
Brilliant, amazing. So, your ambitions and goals then to become a professional musician, was that early on, or was that as you kind of developed your skill, you kind of thought, this is quite interesting, or did you just fall into it?
Well, as a kid, you don't really think, or I didn't think, how am I going to make money? What's my future going to be? I thought, well, this is something I seem to be quite good at. Not a virtuoso by any means. Some people have that magic thing and they're phenomenal. They still need to work hard, but for me it was just something I was pretty good at and keen. And maybe around the A levels time, I was thinking, at school there was a lot of talk of, well, which university are you going to go to and what are you going to study? And I thought, oh, eek. I don't think I am.
Yeah,
If it's all right with you, I'm going to go and be a drummer. And, there was some raised eyebrows, like, oh dear, we've lost this one. But, it's been fine. It's gone quite well, I must say. It was a slow start. So I did my A levels just to sort of round things off neatly. I did finish my A levels and I left school. And I think the day after my 18th birthday, I had my first sort of proper gig just in a pub in Lambeth. And I was the house drummer in a jazz jam session. So basically, I was in the drum chair for 3 hours and I had to play with whoever came up and whatever song they wanted to do. Yeah. I actually did that for 7 years. Wow. Not every week, but basically, 7 years later, I thought, okay, I'm happy with this. I was getting a lot of other work anyway.
Yeah.
But it was, I suppose I just thought this is something I could do. My parents were so encouraging and brilliant. Hats off to them. They did this with me and my brother. We both got unconventional jobs. He designs firework displays, but like the London New Year's Eve and Hogmanay and the Olympic opening and closing ceremonies. So, quite good stuff. But he and I were both a little left of field, and our parents are antique dealers, otherwise it sounds like they're antique stealers. I promise you they're not. But we all just do unconventional things, so it was never an issue. They just said if you follow your heart, if there's something you're passionate about, you'll kind of get carried through, and I believe that.
Wonderful. That's so wonderful that you had so much support, like you say, even from a tiny one at the primary school. That's so encouraging, because so many people don't get that. So many people don't feel supported in the love that they want to do, and that their families maybe just not even knowingly, intentionally just think, well, this is the path that everyone else is doing, please follow the university or college or whatever route, and then decide, because that's what everyone else is doing and it seems that that's the right thing to do.
Well, I mean, I'm very conscious when I sort of do these things and I say, oh, my parents are wonderful and they're so supportive, because I know that there are lots of people for whom that's sort of a dream, to have a parent say, go for it, you can do it. But I believe that people will find their own way, even if it's a difficult path in the beginning. Maybe that sets them up for the reality of the difficulties, when you pursue a career. But I only know my situation, and I am very grateful for it. But to anyone who's thinking, well, my parents are sort of saying I should do this or I should study that, yes, it probably is sensible to have a backup, especially in this current situation. But hold on to the passions and pursue them when you can.
Exactly. And also, it's very much evident nowadays that you're never too old to pick anything up and give it a go, and relight the fire and the passion that you had years previous. You can, and there's no set way of doing it.
I agree. The idea of age restrictions on the upper end of the spectrum, like, you can't do that, you're over 20, that's far too old, or you're over 60, or you're over 80. There are some great examples of lots of people in all fields achieving great things later in life. So there's hope for us all.
Absolutely. So talk us through some of your wow moments then, some of the things that stick in your mind that, throughout your career so far, that you've just gone, oh my God, that was an incredible moment.
Well, yes, I mean, I'm quite, I always get told I'm quite sort of mellow and relaxed. I don't often sort of go, oh my God, the best thing happened to me. I sort of take it in my stride a bit. But, I mean, I've done one of the main stages at Glastonbury in front of I don't know. I don't know if it's 50, 60,000 people. I have no idea. And it's going out live on the BBC. And, you're playing and you're thinking, oh, wow, this is interesting. It's a different kind of pressure.
Yeah.
And then, I've done live TV, and I've done TV shows where I'm in the house band, or later with Jules Holland was a highlight. Because the way that studio is set up, or was set up when it was at White City, all the bands would be kind of in the round. Yep. So I would see Dave Gilmour from Pink Floyd over there, and then I'd see, Jeff Beck was there, and Katy Perry didn't fire me up so much, but she's had a great career. And Elbow and various great bands were there, and we're all sort of looking at each other going, but it's very supportive. But the funny thing is, those more high profile things, they're not necessarily as frightening as maybe playing in a small jazz club with one of your drum heroes sort of sitting on the table there, checking out your left hand. Each situation has its own sort of challenges, and if you really care about what you do, that can get to you. But I've loved it all,
Yeah, amazing.
And there have been some nice moments, even in lockdown, or I say in the last year, as things have become a bit more challenging. I mean, I did a recording at Abbey Road Studios, just me, doing some sort of drum compositions, and that was in late summer. And a nice gig with Kerry Ellis, who I know you had on.
Yes,
at the London Palladium. That was great. Gorgeous venue. No one sitting anywhere in it, but it was still great to do. And I mean, lots of things. Tours. Amazing. And just I like to keep it varied.
You like you said, you're very mellow. You are very modest and very, but I think when you love something so much, it's just every job is special, right? And you just go, I'm very grateful to be doing this. This is something that, a lot of people do as a hobby, but can't, for whatever reason, make that leap into making it a career, making it a job, So I love how you tell your stories. You're very much like, well, I'm just lucky to be here. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to do everything. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for saying so. I mean, it just you just got to enjoy the ride and see what comes next and who calls. And I mean, I've got my studio here, which I think I've had for 6 months now, doing a lot of recording on my own, which is a very different discipline, and trying to get the kind of spirit of a live recording.
Yes.
When you're just playing to a metronome or a MIDI track that someone has sent you and no one's put their solos on or the vocals on, it's a different art, and I'm keen and I'm learning, but that's going to be a long road as well.
Yeah, for sure. So do you have a favorite genre of music to play, and is that different to ones that you like to listen to?
That's an interesting question. For whatever reason, I'd say I've done a lot more jazz gigs than anything else over the years. I don't know if it's that I'm naturally not better at it, but you get a little bit typecast. It's the same with acting, isn't it? People associate you with that. So
yes.
I love the musical challenge of playing jazz and being creative and reacting to the soloist. I mean, I've done about 20 gigs in the COVID era. I'm going to call it very dramatic. So currently that's about 10 months, and live gigs, and it was very different going out and playing jazz and thinking, that guy's playing that, I've got to go in this direction, because when you are just practicing on your own, it's really different. But if there's a jazz influence in the music, so jazz, funk, fusion, or soul, that has a jazz influence, I like that. But maybe I'm a rocker at heart. I grew up playing a lot of rock music and soul, so but I tend to listen to a lot of jazz, funk, fusion.
Yes.
to reference that question, which was a really interesting one. Some people would say, well, I play heavy metal, but really I just listen to classical. They're a bit more closely linked with me, I'd say. I
Yes.
try to keep an open mind.
Yes. So is there anybody within the industry that you would absolutely love to work with?
Oh, well, that's a great question. I'm conscious that we have to be realistic when thinking about these things. So, I mean, in Fantasyland, I'd love Stevie Wonder to call me. I doubt very much that he will for a number of reasons, or Steely Dan or James Taylor, Sting. But I'm aware that the people who play drums with them are my absolute idols,
Yeah.
most of them. So do I feel that I could replace them? No, I love going to the gigs and listening to them play. But
Yes.
I mean, now that the recording world has opened up, I've been doing remote recordings for people in different parts of the world. Yeah, if any of those players want to give me a call, I'm here. I'm ready.
Here I am.
How
Yes.
far have I travelled? Well, I've done tours of the UK, New Zealand, Australia with Roots Manuva, the rapper, and that was great. And I've toured Italy and Germany with Chihiro Yamanaka, amazing Japanese jazz and classical pianist. I did some touring on the Thriller musical, the
Okay.
Michael Jackson musical.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been doing gigs with Gala as well, or I was, the Freed from Desire singer. The My
Yes.
love, he's got the money, he's got his strong beliefs. That one.
That's the one.
There's a lot more to her than that. She's writing some beautiful stuff at the moment in New York and sending those to me. So we'll see. But so yeah, just I'll travel anywhere really when we're able. And as
Yeah,
far
for
as the
sure.
remote recordings go, yeah, things can come from America, and you'll find out that the bass player is in Italy and someone's in Los Angeles. It's brilliant that that's opened up at this time when we're so sort of restricted in our movement.
Absolutely. I think, do you know what, this time has kind of definitely brought creativity to a whole new level. And people are trying to think of everything they possibly can outside of the box to get people involved in certain projects and to create projects that before they wouldn't have even thought about because everybody was kind of on their doorstep and that's what they were used to doing. Whereas now
Yeah,
people are going, oh my goodness, look at how we can communicate with people literally the other side of the world. Let's do it. Let's put together these things. And that's amazing.
exactly. And it's great that you're doing what you do. And did you say you've done 91 of these?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that's incredible that you're doing that and reaching people all over the world. And I know ultimately you want to bring a smile to people's faces, and that's a lovely idea.
Thank you so much. Well, I really appreciate it for sure. So, do you have in in a normal circumstance, do you have a favorite time of year?
Oh, well, I try to enjoy each of our seasons.
Yeah.
I suppose I like spring because our winters in the UK can seem quite long and drawn out. I don't mind them. I mean, I change my lifestyle to suit the weather. Like,
Yeah.
there's been snow recently and I wasn't going out to exercise as much. But yeah, I like the promise of spring and knowing that summer's coming. And somehow by the time we're in August and it's very hot, I think, do you know what? I'm looking forward to putting my polo neck on and just or roll neck, but just sort of being cozy at home. But
Yeah.
yeah, spring and summer probably. What about you?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I love autumn. I do love autumn. I think I always used to say winter because it's so, you've got your Christmas and my birthday's in winter and it's all happening. But I think autumn's lovely because you've just, like you say, you've had the heat of the summer, which we have had in the past couple of years in the
Yeah,
UK. And then you're kind of like getting out and everything's a little bit crisp and getting a little bit cooler and you're getting your jackets on. But I'm quite open to everything. I pretty much like every time of the year. Like you say, you just adjust your lifestyle accordingly And it's nice to wear, once like you're in sweaters for such a long time, like big jumpers and things, and then when it goes into kind of spring, summer, it's lovely to wear something a little bit more lightweight, a little bit, a little bit nicer. But then by the time that's over, you're looking forward to putting the layers back on. So I'm pretty
Yeah,
much open. I like it all.
that's the best way to be, isn't it? Because the last pattern you want to get into is sort of wishing away half of every year.
Yes,
That
yes.
doesn't seem like a great life plan, really. Just think, well, this is where we are. I'm going to
Yeah,
enjoy this. I'm going to look forward to that, and then I'll in turn look forward to this and that. I think that's the
yes.
way to sort of to be generally happy and upbeat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the thing as well with this whole pandemic, this whole situation. I think, it's been very difficult to put in place things that you can look forward to, and certain things that you're used to doing. So it has made us look at just enjoying today, and seeing the little things of today. You might not be able to go out, you might not be able to see your friends or travel or any of these things, but what was something brilliant that happened today, whether it be you achieved your fitness goal, whether it be you had a phone call from a friend, whether the little moments are becoming the big moments. So when we can enjoy those big moments again, I think we'll all be, so incredibly grateful that we had this time to really enjoy things that we maybe took for granted a little bit.
I completely agree. I think as devastating as this situation has obviously been for the ridiculous numbers of people who
Yeah.
have been lost to the virus worldwide, I think it's made people more grateful for what they do have and appreciate the small things, as you said. And that's been the case for me.
Yeah.
And even just to get off a slight treadmill of work, although it's
Yes.
enjoyable work, it's very tempting just to say, well, I'm getting all these offers, go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And, I was sort of forgetting what I was doing half the time. By that, I mean,
Yes.
I think, what did I play last week? And
Yes.
you do take it for granted a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've just been able to reassess, think about what we want from our futures, the
Yeah.
bits that are within our control.
Yes,
Can't control
exactly.
it all.
No, no, you cannot. Absolutely not. So, if you were to have a movie night, what would be your go-to snack and what film would you watch?
Oh, go-to snack. Well, now you're talking my language. I'd probably, I'd probably make something, have a nice dinner to eat with it. But yeah, go-to snack. I try to be pretty healthy, but I must admit I've had some moments where I've crashed off the wagon big time with the Doritos and the Galaxy Caramel. What can I say?
Oh, that's
I don't
such a good
recommend it.
combination.
Well, I tried to divide them, one day doing one. I did have, yeah, a dark day when they both
They
collided at the
formed.
same time. But yes, no, generally, I'm sure I'd be snacking on nuts and edamame beans instead. Regarding films, yes, I tend to be drawn to quite thought-provoking, potentially dark films, but I realise that might not be in my best interests. um, so, I mean, things like I've watched Parasite
Okay.
twice recently. I thought that was an incredible film, and I thought Foxcatcher was fantastic. And yeah, a lot of Manchester by the Sea I thought was amazing. But
Yeah.
yeah, these films stay with you, and I think at this
Mm.
time we need to help each other out and maybe not get into those sort of dark places emotionally. So I love putting on, if it's an Arnold Schwarzenegger film like Kindergarten Cop, great. Those
Yeah.
lovely 80s cuddly movies that bear no resemblance to real life and complete fantasy, or Home Alone, Richie Rich, those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's nice just to sort of to feel that, but I'm more a fan of TV shows than films, I would say.
Yeah. Do you like a good drama or a comedy or?
I mean, I like comedy. Yeah, so my absolute favourite show ever would be Frasier. I just think it
Yeah,
was a work of genius,
genius.
amazing casting, the writing, and it was so nice and pleasant. And by that I mean, they didn't need to have swearing or smut or anything. It was just really intelligent, clever, great storylines, lovely
Yeah.
camaraderie, and a cute dog.
And that's what we need, and that's hilariously leads me on to my next question. Do you have a favorite animal?
Oh, well, I don't have one, as in I don't own an animal unless one's wandered in here without me knowing it. But as a kid, my grandmother had a lovely dog, Lucy, Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, and
Oh,
we as a family sort of, I was going to say inherited her, not when my grandmother, she hadn't died or anything, but it just became a bit too much of a responsibility. So we had
yeah.
her. That was lovely. And then, when she died, I was about 11, and then we got a rescue cat, beautiful tabby cat. And yeah, if I was going to go for another animal, it would probably be a cat. But when I'm out
Yeah.
exercising, like today, I went out and I have an exercise routine involving staircases in the park, and I do 2 steps at a time, and I do 600, 800 of those.
Yeah.
I love looking at all the beautiful dogs going past and having a chat with the owners at an
Oh,
appropriate distance.
of course.
I've had the thought, like many people, oh, I know what the answer is. Get a cat, or a lot of people have got dogs, but I know life will return to the
Mm,
more or less the way it was, and it won't be practical.
yeah, yeah, it's
But
got to
the
be
idea
fair.
is nice.
Yes. So during lockdown, then you said you had quite a few gigs, and also you've done some recording and things. What else have you been up to? What have you taken the time to do during this time?
Well, when the gym is open, I sort of become quite obsessed with going there. But unfortunately, it would open for a bit and then close. Yeah, if I'm not doing gym stuff and exercising or drumming, um, I've tried to upgrade my cooking standard, really.
Okay. Brilliant.
So it's not like MasterChef here. It's not that, but yeah, just because I like to eat well, but I used to get fed at my gigs, multiple times a week, week
Yeah.
after week,
Yeah.
and that obviously doesn't really happen anymore. So it's been great to do that myself.
Yeah. Try
But
new things.
yeah, I'm trying to make sure that a lot of people feel this immense pressure to make the most of this time and achieve great things, and I'm trying to think, well, it's okay to not really do anything in a day.
Yeah.
If you don't feel like it, I don't think it should be
Absolutely.
forced.
No.
So I'm trying to get a balance, like most people, of not, yeah, not underachieving or being lazy, but equally giving myself a break, because hopefully we'll never have this time again.
I think as well, like you say, it's very important, particularly when your lifestyle before was very, very fast paced and there was a lot going on. It's very good to take those times to reflect. That's not a bad thing. It's not, sometimes we can, um, you know, try and cram so many things in a week, and then by the end of the week you're exhausted and you haven't enjoyed any of it. And I think, isn't
Hmm.
it better to do these things, and then if you've got a day where you think, "Do you know what, actually I'm really not feeling doing that today," I mean, well, listen to yourself, don't do it then, because try it tomorrow. I think that's very important as well. Sometimes we and it's competing and comparing sometimes, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
well, I went on social media and my friends doing this and this, and I'm still in my pajamas, it's 11 o'clock, I haven't done anything. And I think sometimes it's very, very easy to get in that habit and go, well, actually that's okay for her and this is okay for you.
Yeah, well, again, with if I've done any interviews or things, it's tempting to think, oh, I've been so busy, it's been amazing, I've been doing this, this, and this, and aren't I fabulous? But actually, I think it creates, if everyone does that,
Yeah.
it creates this slightly fabricated level of, and it can create an anxiety in people that they're not achieving what they should, and that's not what we want at this time. We want to all be supportive. So
absolutely,
yeah, it's the same way I try to be with myself. Don't beat myself up if I haven't climbed a mountain or something. Metaphorically speaking.
Of course, because we can't get to the mountains.
Well, you might be able to in Wales.
No, we're very close to them. We are very close to them, but our exercise regime has to start from outside our house. So I mean, honestly, it would take me a very, very long time to walk up to the mountains where we are.
No, I know, yeah. The time restrictions and distance, of course, no. Right, I know.
But it was wonderful when we had the snow. So I was doing my weekly supermarket shop, and when we had the snow, it was pretty much gone here, but we looked from when we were driving to the supermarket, and the Preseli Mountains were still beautifully covered in snow. That was lovely. I mean, from a very obviously distance, I was just going to the supermarket, but it was lovely to see. I thought, oh, wouldn't that be beautiful up there?
But I mean, even just catching a glimpse of it that's really valuable, isn't it? And it's
definitely, for sure. So my very last question for you is one of these ones that maybe is a little bit of a crazy one to ask, but 2021, have you got any goals or hopes for this year, or anything that you might like to achieve?
Basically, people are just waiting for the green light, and then various things will get going, whether it's recording an album for someone or with someone, not here but in an actual real studio. And Jay Rayner, the lovely great Jay Rayner from MasterChef and all the BBC Radio 4 stuff, he's I'll be doing a project with him which will be great fun. And again, we're just waiting for things to open up. It's the same with Gala, the pop singer, she's got dates lined up. So I'm trying not to predict anything time-wise. When the time's right, it'll all happen. But regarding my own goals, I'm trying to study this stuff. I don't know about engineering, and I haven't done a sound engineering course or anything. I'm just learning as I go. So to try and step up that. I'm doing various videos for people, recording my performances and things that'll turn up on albums one day. But just make sure my diet is good, fitness levels are good, I'm happy more or less, and keep the playing going. That's really where I am at the moment. I'm where I just hope that'll keep growing this year, really.
Absolutely amazing. Well, that's wonderful, and all you can hope for, really. Do everything that you can in your control, and keep enjoying the ride, for sure. And thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Jen. Thank you for asking. And it's been a lovely thing to do. And congratulations for nearly being at your 100th show.
I know, crazy. I would love to get there before we've done a year. So I think the first interview I did was maybe the 1st or 2nd of April. So I would love to get to 100 people by then. I mean, honestly, I thought if I could do it for 4 or 5 weeks, that would be wonderful. Yes, I've been absolutely blown away by how many people have said yes, and thank you so much, because I've had a wonderful time chatting with you.
Oh, great. Well, likewise, I've really enjoyed it, and keep doing what you do, and we'll all get back to normal and look back fondly on this.
Yes, and also what's wonderful is it's like kind of uniting people. We did a charity song a couple of months ago for Christmas, and somebody that I interviewed, he wrote it, and I got 30 other people that I'd also interviewed to sing on it, and along with my theatre company, and it was wonderful. And then you make like friendships and bonds with people, and you get people chatting with other people, and they make music or they do a show or a program, and it's really lovely then to go, look, I made all these friendships or really great acquaintances or business partners or whatever you've done just from reaching out and chatting to people. So it's so wonderful.
Well, it all spreads, and it spreads good vibes, if that doesn't make me sound too much of a hippie, but it really does.
Yeah.
You know, what you put out into the world, I like to think comes back. You know, if you have a good attitude to things and you're a nice, good person, that'll kind of spread and make a difference to the next person. And it's a good way to be, I think, day to day.
Yeah, we try, and I like I say, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me, and I'd love to keep in touch with you, and maybe we can chat again another time.
Sure, yeah, well, keep me posted.
Fantastic. Well, I'll let you know when it goes up on the channel anyway. I'll send you the link. Thank you so much. Well, you take care of yourself. Have a lovely week, and I look
You
forward to speaking to
too,
you again
Jen.
soon.
Great, thanks. Have a good week. Thank you,
Thank
Jen.
you. Take care.
Bye.
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 Thank you so much, Sophie. What a pleasure it was chatting with you. And I'm sending all my very best wishes to you for the rest of the year. So, another special guest coming up for you in a couple of days. Take care.